Coming up on Cardinals Insider.
Making my Major League debut in Wrigley was pretty surreal for me.
Two Cardinals who made their big league debuts at Wrigley. Plus,
I've never seen it happen before.
This home run created a lot of buzz. And later,
hey, smile like a mama.
Making time for some wounded warriors. That and more ahead on Cardinals Insider. Hello and welcome to Cardinals Insider. I'm your host, Ozzie Smith. The Cards are in Chicago this weekend for a matchup with the Cubs. It's always fun when these rivals get together. But for two Cardinals, Wrigley Field has some special significance. It's where Kolten Wong and Tyler O'Neill made their big league debuts.
No matter which side of the rivalry you occupy, most agree Wrigley Field has a unique feel. Making the trip both ways on I-55 is a summer tradition for many Midwestern families, but Wrigley Field has some added significance for two current Cardinals.
First got called up here in Wrigley, so it's going to hold a special place in my heart probably for the rest of my life. I'm just excited to be back and play some baseball.
That's crazy. Making my Major League debut in Wrigley was pretty surreal for me. Being drafted by the Cardinals, understanding the rivalry the Cardinals-Cubs always had, and making my debut here was really cool.
Of course, they're most comfortable here at Busch Stadium, but Wrigley is where it began for Wong and O'Neill, both of them jumping right into that famous rivalry to begin their big league careers.
There's a long-time rivalry going on, obviously, between St. Louis and Chicago. It's fun to be thrown in the middle of that, just go and compete and play baseball like a little kid that I was, growing up and falling in love with the game. So, just to be able to do that is a dream come true.
O'Neill's power is always a threat in hitter-friendly Wrigley. But Wong's biggest moment in the rivalry so far has come at home.
Wong, a drive down the right field line. Is it fair? Gone! Two-run homer. Wong walks it off.
Definitely a little excitement. Obviously it's always fun playing these guys because we always know it's going to be, things are going to be elevated a little more. People are going to put a lot more pressure on these games. But, for us, it's always fun to go out there and play against the best. And these guys, year in and year out, are always bringing out their top competition, their top players. So, it's always fun to kind of, go to battle against them.
Nobody needs any extra motivation in this classic matchup. But for Wong and O'Neill, there are a few extra memories every time the schedule leads to the north side of Chicago. For Cardinals Insider, I'm Brett McMillan.
Paul DeYoung knocked a homer to Big Mac land off of the Brewers' Devin Williams. Not only did he hit it to the famous section, the ball landed inside the giant M in the Big Mac land sign. That created a lot of buzz around the now famous homer. Here's more on DeYoung's out-of-the-ordinary homer.
And DeYoung can change it with one swing. Just one, baby. Out of here.
Yeah, pretty cool. I don't even know if that counts as Big Mac. It's almost there. It was, maybe a junior Big Mac. But it was pretty amazing to see how it just stuck in the light. That's something I'll probably never be able to do again.
You put some lights out.
Well, it landed in a very unusual place. Some place that I've never seen a ball land before. Well, the Cardinals inquired about recovering the ball, but the thought was to do it the next morning. And because of our process, we can't leave the ball unattended. We can't leave it outside of our field of vision. So we came up with a plan, wait till the fans left the ballpark, try to find some equipment that we could possibly use to reach the ball and recover it so that it could be authenticated as a game-used ball.
Hey, if I fall, tell my wife I love her.
Matt Gifford, who is the Vice President of Stadium Operations. Matt is probably the tallest guy in the ballpark. So we went up there, we had the equipment. We have a second authenticator who's at every game, and he maintained that visual contact with the ball as we made our way up to that level, and then started the process of extricating the ball from the sign.
I watched it, but I didn't see it go into the M as I was running around. I guess I lost it, and for a good reason, it was stuck.
Straight ahead on Cardinals Insider,
Hi, Paul Goldschmidt.
a visit with heroes. Also coming up,
We came here on our honeymoon 70 years ago.
70 years after their honeymoon, this couple is back at Busch Stadium. Last month, a group of Cardinals paid a visit to Scott Air Force Base to visit veterans as part of a Wounded Warriors Project event. Our cameras tagged along.
Looking forward to seeing you tonight.
Oh, you're a little one.
Hey, smile, look at mama.
Your name, sir? Hi, Paul Goldschmidt.
Paul?
First baseman. Matt Wieters. Second. Are we all getting in this?
Take a picture. There you go.
Hi, Paul Goldschmidt.
I'm going to take a picture with my friends too.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, first, thank you.
So they spent some time
Tell you right now, you gotta go.
Short to tall, anywhere. That's a good thing about baseball.
Straight ahead,
Every day could be a Valentine's Day, full of love.
a love story that began with baseball. Plus,
I just need to go out there and just play my best brand of baseball every single day.
we head to AAA Memphis to hear from Max Schrock. Have you listened to the Cardinals Insider podcast yet? Each week, the show welcomes players, executives, and alumni. Plus, hear audio from the Cardinals Radio archives. Take Cardinal baseball with you on the Cardinals Insider podcast. Listen or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts or at cardinals.com/podcast. Let's take a look back at this moment in Cardinals history.
Another left-handed batter. The outfield is straight away, reaches in. So is Hernandez. Here's the pitch from Porsche to Boa. A swing and a ground ball to third. Reach has it. Whoa, no-hitter. Oh! And Porsche has won his third game of the year, and he is mobbed by his teammates. Don't hurt him.
AAA Memphis went on a tear to end its season. One of the men helping propel that strong stretch run was infielder Max Schrock. He's the subject of this week's Bear Farm Report.
I knew it was always the career that I wanted to pursue. That was from the time that I started playing. I always had a great time playing, and if I was obviously fortunate enough to make it a career, that's what I wanted to do. I was fortunate enough to be part of the national championship team last year with Stubby. It was a great team. We had a great year, and it was a lot of fun, and I'm still having a lot of fun now. Spring training was awesome. It was just cool to see how all the guys go about their business from a day in, day out standpoint. It was just I've added some things that I've seen from them into my routine, and that was probably the coolest part. The way that they prepare for the day, like weight room stuff, the little things that you wouldn't think that are so important that I've added into my routine that have really, I feel, just made me a better player overall. I don't know that there's one thing that I'm preparing for the most. I just need to go out there and just play my best brand of baseball every single day, just take it one day at a time and see what I can do that day. The fan base here is incredible. You can definitely tell that there are so many Cardinals fans here in Memphis, and it's just fun. They all know your name, they all are rooting for you, they all want to see you in St. Louis, and it's just cool being around that kind of atmosphere every single day.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it. Good luck.
Sid and Roberta Keltner attended a Cardinals game on their honeymoon in 1949. They celebrated 70 years of marriage last month, and their family surprised them with a trip to St. Louis to celebrate their love for baseball once again.
Love stories begin in many different ways, but for Sid and Roberta Keltner, it began with baseball.
We came here on our honeymoon 70 years ago, and he said, wouldn't it be nice to get to go back to St. Louis and celebrate 70 years? So we're here tonight.
I met Roberta by visiting my brother, and we lived quite a few miles apart and didn't get to see her too often, but the love seemed to grow as the distance was there, and we got closer together, and all of a sudden we realized that we were meant for each other.
Spending part of their honeymoon at Sportsman's Park was a no-brainer, but seeing the Cardinals play at Busch Stadium 70 years later was an anniversary they will never forget.
Although when we came on our honeymoon, we were in Sportsman's Park, the old Cardinals Stadium, and now it's nice to see this new stadium. And this is something that we both enjoyed, and so that's why we picked this place.
I am a Cardinal fan probably since I was about 6 years old. Radio, at that time, there was not much amusement to be played. No TV available, just the radio. Yeah. And I remember Harry Carey had been such a good announcer. And in those early days, he didn't go with the team. It was teletyped to him, and he gave the announcement of the game just as if it was live and he was there seeing it, and you always enjoyed his comments.
He's a very kind person, very considerate of others, and he's just a good person.
And also remember that every day could be a Valentine's Day, full of love.
Is that what tonight is?
Yes.
From 1949 to 2019, a lot has changed over the years. But Sid and Roberta's love for the Cardinals and each other remains the same.
Let's go Cardinals!
For Cardinals Insider, I'm Emily Stevens.
It's time for this week's trivia question. Will Clark played just part of one season in St. Louis. What year was he traded over to the Cards? Was it 1998, 1999, 2000, or 2001? The answer when we return. We're back with the answer to this week's trivia question. We ask, in what year Will Clark became a Cardinal? The answer is 2000. He joined the roster on July 31st and added veteran leadership as the team made a playoff push. Here's more on Will's time in St. Louis.
Cub game runners go. The pitch swung. High fly ball belted left center field. And that's long gone. A grand slam for Will Clark.
You know, it's a lot of fun. I mean, you know, I ended my career here in St. Louis. We had a great run in 2000, made the playoffs, and it was an exciting team to be part of. So to come back here to St. Louis and be part of this fan experience is going to be pretty fun because I really enjoyed my time here. Oh, I was ecstatic. I came from Baltimore. We were in last place, and then all of a sudden I wound up in first place by flying across the country, so I enjoyed it. Tony La Russa, who was our manager back then, you know, he called me in the office and he said, look, he said, I want you to, you know, be part of veterans here and step up and take a leadership role. And I was pretty familiar with doing stuff like that and really enjoyed it. You know, it's a great way to get in touch with your teammates and, you know, get to know them really well.
Pitch. Well hit. Right field. See you later.
The Cardinals had been building momentum, And that year right there, I mean, they just sort of went over the top, went over the hump. And then, you know, from there, you know, Albert Pujols showed up the next year, and then it led to a few world championships. You know, being an alumnus is really good to see, and, you know, it warms your heart that you were part of that building process. I homered in my first at-bat here at the stadium on my first pitch off of Tom Glavine. Homered in Game 2 of the NLDS. So those are probably some of the real big ones. But other than that, it was every day going out on the field and seeing how vocal and how educated the fans were here in St. Louis. It was so much fun being on the field with them.
Coming up next,
we have a special edition, limited edition, St. Louis Cardinals library card.
Stepping up to the plate to promote literacy. Let's take a look back at this moment in Cardinals history.
Stan Musial's 3,000th hit. It was in Wrigley Field, Chicago. Stan wanted to save the big Bengal for the St. Louis home folks, but the Cards needed a hit.
Line drive, there it is! Into left field! Hit number 3,000! A run is scored! Musial around first! On his way to second with a double! Holy cow, he came through!
Earlier in the show, you saw how some Cardinals made time to recognize wounded veterans. Because of events like that, the Silver Star Families of America are recognizing the club with an award. The SSFA is an organization which supports wounded veterans and their families, and they came to Busch Stadium to honor the club last month.
Well, the Silver Star Families of America has a pretty lengthy tradition dating back to World War I. We were deploying doughboys overseas. The American War Mothers would take the Blue Star service banners, and if one of their loved ones was killed in action, they would sew gold thread over that blue star, and it became the Gold Star family tradition. Likewise, if a loved one was wounded or injured while serving in the military in World War I, they took silver thread and sewed it over that blue star, and it became the Silver Star banner tradition, which carried forth through World War I, World War II, Korea, kind of faded around Vietnam, and it was resurrected in 2004 by Steve and Diana Newton in Clever, Missouri. Well, the first was President George W. Bush, and Ann Margaret has received the award. A couple years ago, we came up here to St. Louis and presented the award to the band Three Doors Down for all of their efforts to support veterans. Part of our outreach efforts with the Silver Star Families of America and recognizing those who support our injured and wounded service members is honoring individuals or organizations that have gone above and beyond in honoring our veterans. And this year, the founders selected the St. Louis Cardinals for all their efforts in honoring veterans.
The St. Louis County Library now offers Cardinal library cards. They threw a special kickoff event for the new cards, and Fred Bird showed up to help mark the occasion.
So the St. Louis County Library and the Cardinals are teaming up to celebrate National Library Card Sign-Up Month. We have a special edition, limited edition, St. Louis Cardinals library card, and we are encouraging patrons to come in and find out all that a library card can do for them and to get the Cardinals version of that card. So today is special because this is a brand new branch we're in, and Fred Bird is here today with us, visiting with all of our young patrons that are here for lap time, and also giving out some Cardinal tickets, which is really fun for all the families that are here. Thank you. So the Cardinals have supported libraries in the community for a very long time, and particularly the St. Louis County Library. They are a big supporter of our Born to Read program, which is a program where every baby born in St. Louis County goes home with a library card and a book and information about early literacy, and also a St. Louis Cardinals beanie. They support us during Summer Reading Club with all kinds of giveaways and prizes for kids that are doing a great job reading during the summer. The library has 20 locations all over St. Louis County, and anyone can come into any of our branches during the month of September and pick up this amazing library card. Limited edition, and just come up to the desk and tell them that you want a St. Louis Cardinals library card.
This episode is coming to a close, but we're always online at cardinals.com/insider. Plus, our YouTube page houses all of our content, including individual stories and past episodes. That's it for today's episode. We leave you with the sights and sounds of Cardinals Nation, and we'll see you next week.
Bader base hit. Here comes Edman. The game is tied. Edman slides in, and we're tied. Carpenter, base hit. Here comes Molina. He's being waved in. Relay to the plate. Save! He's safe! Carpenter comes through. It's a sweep of the doubleheader. Unbelievable! And Molina shoots it out to deep right center. Senzel back. It's in the gap. And a one-hopper over the wall. Fly ball, deep right, and this will do it. They'll walk him off for the second consecutive game. Bader, the fly ball into right. It's a walk-off, 4-3.